So after all the explanation that I explained, you still don't understand what I've been trying to.
What kind of explanation?
Which kind of what do you mean by what kind of?
My own points too.
Which I told you my own points too.
So I did give you my view.
I gave you my own view too.
So for the two of us to just understand and come to a common place now, you are behaving like this.
As far as I'm concerned, if you do not do it my way, we are not doing.
You begin stronger.
Yes, yes. I will do stronger. Because it's me that understand what I'm talking about.
I don't like to tell you, I don't like it.
Thank you. Don't like it. If you do not do it my way, you are not doing it. Hello everyone. So this can be you.
Yes.
And this can be in anybody's marriage or even relationship. Conflict will always arise. But now this video is targeted towards how to successfully
resolve the conflict between you and your spouse.
Yes.
How do you resolve this kind of conflict that just happened? I mean,
yes.
And that's why we are here.
And we don't want you to miss the 7th point.
Yes.
So stay glued, stay tuned, and follow through the video.
Returning subscriber, thank you for believing in us. Thank you for subscribing, and thank you for liking our videos. And if you're new to this channel, please like,
you're welcome,
share, and subscribe. Thank you. Welcome.
Yes.
Feel free to watch loads of videos that will help you in your relationship and in your marriage. And if you are single too, there are loads of materials that can help you.
And I'm Oyi Consola.
And this is
Love and Emotions Hub.
Alright, so today, initially we introduced to you that today we're dealing with a very important topic, and that topic is how to resolve conflicts successfully between you and your spouse.
Yep.
Yeah, because we need to set one record straight. First of all, in every relationship, there are conflicts that arise. So expect it or not, it will happen. Except the two of you are deceiving yourself. So for instance, now let's assume that you have been in a relationship for say 6 months, 1 year, and the two of you have never had conflict. And
then it says something and you're like, oh, that's true, yes, I agree.
Yes,
and it says something like, oh yeah, that's right. And that's all. You never said something like, who does things like this, or okay.
I never disagreed
at all. If you are deceiving yourself, you are pretending, as far as I'm concerned.
As far as I'm concerned, exactly. So conflict will always arise. And why will conflict arise? Number one, the two of you are different.
Yeah.
One is a male, one is a female. So that in the first place has even given you up to conflict. The way men reason is different from the way women reason. And number one.
When we say conflict, it necessarily doesn't mean insult or you're abusing yourself or something. It's just disagreement between views. That's just the basic.
That's what conflict is.
That's just it. Yes. So from there, it can now graduate to whatever thing it is, but that is just the basics of it, of which everybody, you cannot deny the fact that you people disagree on some things, because the point of view of A is different from the point of view of B, which is just normal. Yeah,
and that brings me to the meaning of conflict in itself. Conflict is disagreement or differences in opinion between two parties or more parties. You know, as the case may be, here it might be between the man and the woman. That's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Either in your relationship or in your marriage. Conflict in ideas, difference in ideas. You know, is your temperament, your personality. One might be choleric and one might be sanguine. Do you understand? One might be sanguine and the other melancholy, as the case may be. Most of the time, it's usually extrovert with introvert. Most of the time. There are exceptions
that you
get the
same.
There are few cases. There are few cases. So and sometimes it might be the two of you might have the same, but one might be predominant
more than the
other. You know. So another thing that can give you up to that could be your upbringing, the way you were raised, and things like that. So different things can give you up to conflict in your relationship or your marriage. So if you have conflict, it is a normal thing. So the way you now handle the conflict is now what makes the difference. And one of my mentors said something. He said the strength of a marriage is tested by fight, not by love, then by disagreement, not by agreement. Let's dive right into how to resolve those conflicts. So different things have happened in your relationship, which is normal. Now, how do you resolve it? But one, ensure your spouse is in the right frame of mind before you bring up the discussion of resolving the conflict.
In fact, apart from even conflict resolution, whenever you want to table any matter, you need to always know the right mood, right frame of mind for you to even lay down anything. Now talk less of what they call conflict resolution. So for you to want to successfully get this thing, you need to make sure that your spouse is in the right frame of mind. Is not on the edge at that time. Is well relaxed, or she is well relaxed
from stress.
Exactly.
From work, like I remember back in secondary school, there was one of the things that our teacher, one of our teachers in secondary school, told us. He said, when you want to ask school fees from your daddy, he said, watch the countenance of your dad before you ask. Ensure that he's either watching football or he's eating.
When he's watching football, make sure that it's his team that is winning. No,
exactly. Make sure that his team is not losing; they are winning.
Yes.
So the same thing is applicable in this place. Ensure that your spouse is in the right mood, and make sure that you yourself too, you're in the right frame of mind before you discuss it. And that takes us to number 2, which is have an open mind. The two of you must have an open mind. You know, don't come from a place of oh, there's nothing you want to tell me, I cannot hear you, I cannot listen. Have an open mind. And that takes us to point number 3, which is commit to resolving the conflict.
Very important.
Commitment is important. If you want to successfully resolve your conflict, the two of you must be committed to resolving it. Do you understand? So it's as simple as that. And that takes us to point number 4. Pay attention and listen when your spouse is talking.
That's very, very important, because if you want to resolve conflict, now I need to really understand you from your own point of view, and he really needs to understand me from my own point of view. And if you're not really paying attention to what I am saying, it's still what you have in mind that will still be in his own mind. And if I'm not listening very well to what he is saying, it's still what I have in my own mind that I'm still going to be thinking that he's saying. So paying attention so that you understand the other person from the other person's point of view, and you can be able to say, oh, okay, this is the reason why she behaved the way she did, even though it might not be an excuse. You know, you could always think of all of these things because you really listen attentively to the other person.
And that's what we call empathetic listening. You understand? Be empathetic in your listening. Don't just stay in your own zone and just be like, you're just talking
whatever.
Exactly. And a lot of ladies say that thing. Whatever.
I'm part of them because I don't get it.
Right. So that takes us to the next point, which is identify the root cause of the conflict. What actually triggered the conflict? What actually caused it? You understand? If you don't find the root cause, you won't know how best to tackle it. So you must know what actually triggered it. Was it because he was stressed? Was it because of the way you spoke? Was it because of the way you responded when he spoke? How? Why? So go to the root. The two of you should really discuss it and go to the root and know why the conflict happened in the first place. And that takes us to the next point. Take responsibilities for your action, your inactions. Take responsibility for it. If you did something wrong, take responsibility for it. Say that, okay,
I was wrong.
I was wrong.
Yes.
Take responsibility.
Apologizing is not going to kill anybody. It's not a sign of weakness, especially for men.
You know,
it's not a sign of weakness.
Yeah. That takes us to the next point, which is be willing to forgive. Be willing to forgive, and you too be willing to ask for forgiveness. So there are two different things. One person be willing to forgive, the other person be willing to ask for forgiveness.
My dear, no vex. So, my dear, forgive me.
I forgive you. I forgive you. So that's it. So it's as simple as that. After you've gotten to the root of the situation, I have really found it. The two of you, one person must be willing to ask for the forgiveness, and the other person must be willing to forgive. Because you know that at the end of the day, the two of you are working towards the same goal. And that takes us to the next point, which is find solutions. Negotiate. And if it will take you to compromise too. Now,
you can break it down.
I will explain. Negotiation and compromise are two different things. In negotiation, there's always a win-win situation.
A middle point.
A middle point. So we always come to a middle point. But under compromise, one person would have to give up his own advantage somehow. Do you understand? Let me give an example. Okay, there's a car in the house and the two of us are going to work, or we're going out. Now, negotiation is, okay, I volunteer to drop her at work and then drive to work. That's negotiation. So at the end of the day, everybody is happy. Now, compromise. I can say, okay, take the car and just go. Don't worry, I'll find my way. Do you understand? That's compromise. So it's as simple as that.
So is in summary, is meeting on his side or meeting in the middle?
Yes.
It's as simple as that.
As simple as that. Yes. So always look for a way to find solution. Always find solution. Even if you can't find the solution now,
you can always meet later.
You can always meet later.
Say you can say, can we talk about this maybe tomorrow or something? And before that tomorrow, the answer would
most easily just pop up.
Because probably as at that time you're probably under some stress or some pressure to want to look for one answer, and so it's always best if you cannot meet on the side, you cannot meet in the middle, then sometimes it's always best to meet later, and by that later everything will have been settled.
Right. So, and the last point is this: think of the resolution as a win-win situation. At the end of the day, have this mindset that when we resolve whatever conflict we have, let's say there's a conflict presently now, once we resolve this conflict, I will be happy, you will be happy. Nobody is having anybody at heart. It's usually said that when you don't forgive somebody, it is even you that is not forgiving somebody that you are suffering.
Because the person that you are even holding grudge against might not even know that something is even happening. It's you that the bitterness is chopping the heart.
Do you get? So at the end of the day, the two of you should really take it as a win-win situation, that if we resolve it now, everybody is happy. One of the rules that we set to ourselves is that if we have any conflict before the next day, we must resolve it.
Before we sleep.
Because we must resolve
somebody like me, I didn't even know how to even hold grudge in the first place. You will have known that there is something wrong with this lady, and for me to now say that, okay, I'm going to sleep, and it cannot even work, because we even pray before we sleep. And I mean, like, which kind of prayer are we praying when in my mind I'm holding grudge against this guy? In fact, sometimes maybe he didn't notice or something, and then want to pray, and then he says, okay, well, let's pray and all. It will just be prayer. I'll not even say amen. And then
happen like that.
And because I cannot say amen, which amen am I saying? Which God am I praying to? That kind of thing. So
we have to settle it that night.
Yes, we have to settle it before. Yes, exactly. So have it at the back of your mind that as it happens, just let him or her know. Because one bad thing about not resolving conflict immediately is that you start overthinking what is not. What is a small issue now will start becoming a big thing in your mind, and different thoughts now creeps in, and then models up the whole thing, and then
it will complicate later.
Yes,
something that is small now,
very small,
you are just keeping it, it becomes large.
Exactly.
There's something one of my mentors used to say. He said, before you hold a grudge, hold a conversation. Actually talk about it.
Exactly.
Before you are angry with somebody or keep it to your heart, hold a conversation. Before you know what's happening, it melts off. And one of the things we also noticed again is that when conflicts are resolved, it's like a hurdle that you just passed. So it's taking you closer to intimacy.
Yeah, to the destination.
It's taking you closer to a destination. It's like somebody running a hurdle race. Do you understand? And after one hurdle, you know that maybe there are 10 more hurdles. You move onto the next hurdle, 9, like that. You are getting closer to your desired destination. So that's how conflict resolution too is. After every conflict that you are able to successfully resolve, you are getting closer, you are getting better, because after this one that you just resolved now, most likely you will not have another situation that will be like that particular one, because you have learned how to handle that kind of situation. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying exactly. So that's how it is. So ensure that you actually are willing to resolve, and then at the end of the day, resolve the conflict. And we believe God with you that you and your spouse are going to resolve that conflict.
Yes. Don't fight like the beginning of the video. It's not good to fight.
And then sort it out.
Yes.
And then if you have not please like, share and subscribe. And before we go, in the comment section, write out what other ways you feel that conflicts should be resolved in either relationships or marriage. if you are actually using a formula that is working for you now, that is aside this one that were mentioned, write it in the comment section and let us all enjoy from your wealth of knowledge. All right, see you in the next video. We love you.
Bye.